champion trainer Peter Moody joins us on Racenet TV. Pete got the 3 runners in the race. Come out during the week saying he thought Lights of Heaven was on top, and I'm assuming nothing's changed after the barrier draw.
No, she's drawn favourably. I don't think there's very little difference between my 3 horses. Lights of Heaven's the more homegrown product, and we probably know a lot more about her, where the 2 colts are new to the yard this campaign. So probably going with the more known factor than anything in deciphering her as my best chance, but I'm very pleased with all 3 of mine heading in.
Sneaker Pete with Glenn Boss on board, drawn probably reasonably well.
Yeah, he's drawn midfield. He'll settle it probably midfield the second half of the race. The tempo looks like it'll be solid. He just needs an uninterrupted passage. He's been very strong in his track work. He's raced without luck. I just want to see him be unimpeded, and I think he'll give a great sight.
Fair to say we haven't seen the best of him?
Definitely, yeah.
Is a good track going to concern him this weekend?
No, not really. My 3 horses have all performed on good and wet. General sort of line of thought is the imports do appreciate that little bit more given the ground than maybe our homegrown horses, but all my horses have won on good to slow and heavy tracks, so we've got all bases covered there.
The form of the Eaglefound Cup, Doomben Cup and the Brisbane Cup, does that really help Lights of Heaven's chances going into this race?
Well, it's earned her a start in the race, so it certainly hasn't taken away from it. She's more seasoned now. Like, she was favourite for this race last year, and she didn't take a place with disappointing lead-up form. As a more mature 5-year-old Zabeel mare, she's probably in the prime of her career now, and she's never going to get a better chance.
Pete, she hasn't run since the Hill Stakes. What's she done in between runs?
Oh, she's just ticked away. She's obviously had the trip down from Sydney. She's had a trip over to Moonee Valley a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday morning, and she galloped there with Managar and galloped strong. And I've just restricted her to working on her own here at home since. Very pleased with the condition. She was forward enough and fit enough if she's good enough.
Thanks, mate. Jake Stevens very kindly joins us on Racenet TV. Mate, horse snuck into the field. What do you make of him?
Yeah, I reckon he's in great shape. Sort of older horse, but yeah, he sort of hasn't lost any of his tricks and his speed. So yeah,
cracking run in the Caulfield Stakes.
Definitely, I was very impressed with that, and we're pretty confident coming into it. Quite nervous sort of with the drive over because I knew he'd galloped so well in the lead up, and he'd switched on even more since the JRA, and I was reasonably happy with that run too as a warm up.
He's a horse that's obviously had a couple of problems. I think he was a favourite or equal favourite for the 2009 Melbourne Cup from memory. What's it taking to get him back to where he is now?
Even probably just before the 2010 Caulfield Cup too, like he was looking really good then when he reeled off those sectionals behind So You Think, and it's just sort of, obviously as you get on, you've got to put so many miles into them, and attrition does take its toll on a lot of horses, but yeah, to be still going at 8 years old and be sound at the moment, even after having had that knee injury, it's really exciting, and it's such a good ride for myself and all the other owners. I'm just happy to be here again, and everyone's getting all the anticipation, the build-up and the hype that comes with this. It's sort of, such a good ride for the owners.
Bet it is, mate. And I remember in 2009 talking about beach work and all that kind of stuff. He's done a bit of that?
Definitely, yeah. We still do a lot of that. It's sort of part of the key to probably keeping him fresh, and the variety and the hill tracks we've got at home, and just sort of a lot of just hacking out really, and just sort of nearly like trail rides just about in between work, and then off to the track for gallops and things, and varying between Strathalbyn and Morphettville, and then and his trips over interstate. He doesn't travel the best, but we've sort of got a good formula down with his travel and everything. And sort of one of those horses you've got to stop a few times and get him off probably every couple of hours and get his head down and stuff, because he's had lung issues before as well. You can't have him sort of standing for too long. Dances a bit, probably puts a bit more stress on his joints. But so yeah.
What do you do when you take him off the float? So you stop every couple of hours. What happens then?
He and his travelling companion, the Paint, they both come off the truck and eat grass for about half an hour, walk around, and then off we go again. So yeah, he just gets quite antsy if you don't stop within sort of 3 hours. He starts kicking and putting on a show.
Mate, you've drawn barrier 9. Looks ideal for him.
Definitely, yeah. That was actually 8 or 9 were the ones I was going for. So yeah, it was exciting to get that barrier.
Where can we see him in the run?
Hopefully, from that position, we'll be pushing forward a bit and trying to hope that we can sort of get midfield and get a nice cushy run.
After Saturday, mate?
We'll just have to get through that one and see where we end up. Yeah, with a horse like of his calibre and his age, sort of thing. It's sort of just one of those things that's one run at a time.
Yeah, it is, mate. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
His first up in Mackay Diva Stakes, he ran 8th. Were you happy with that run anyway?
Yeah, well, look, it was well documented before the race that he'd put on 45 kilos in the paddock, and he was still carrying a few. He's tightened right up now, and he's levelled out. He's much stronger than he was going into the Cup last year, and his form is just as good. Look, the Turnbull Stakes he ran third in. That's a set weights and penalties race, and it's hard for him to win 2 years in a row. So I was quite happy with that, and that run brought him on a lot. I mean, what you see on Saturdays, what you're going to get if he doesn't win, well and good, but that's going to be him at his best.
He does like Flemington, though. Is Caulfield still going to be an issue for him, or you think he's better suited to maybe Flemington?
Well, he's still a winner at Caulfield. You know, I mean, this is the toughest cup we've seen in a long time. So, you know, hopefully we can see that he gets a good run in transit, and we can get a good look at him over the 1.5 miles. So he's questionable a 1.5 miles too. He's never raced further than 2,000 metres. So there's a few questions there.
Ideally, where would you like him to sit on the weekend?
Oh, look, I'd like to see him sit 1 out, 3 back. You know, I think that'd be perfect.
And barrier 12, is that ideal for you as well?
Well, look, you know, it's hard to see the tactics of the race, but I would rather him be out there because I believe there's going to be a traffic jam at the first turn. So he's better off being there than being in 1 and being shuffled right back to last.
A lot of people saying this is going to be the make or break to start. We've got the front run of Glencairn Gold is through barrier 21, and that doesn't really help. So it is going to be a bit of a shuffle. Do you know it's going to be the make or break? Can you see him squeezing out quite early?
Look, I can see. Look, we've got 2 horses in there that have got unchangeable race patterns, you know, and they'll sort of lead and you know they'll probably gas it going down the straight the first time to get across, and then I see him putting the brakes on, and everybody sort of having a walk behind. So I'm glad December Draw's got the 12 where he won't be in close on the fence where he could get shuffled right back.
And how's his track work been this week?
Yeah, no, his track work's been fine. He'll be, what you see on Saturday, he'll be peaking.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Okay.
Pleasure.
That's perfect for at least the first mile. So, you know, ideally we wanted between 6 and 11. Barrier mid-division, we'll still try and do the same. It's just going to be very hard from out there. No, absolutely not. No, at least we've got 2 speed horses inside us that we could follow through. So, no, I haven't given up at all. The horse is in fantastic form. I'd say in his career best form, actually. So we go into the race physically full of confidence.
No horses won from 16 or wider. Does that bring you down a bit?
It doesn't help, does it? No. Look, they're all statistics, aren't they? So we've got the right horse. We haven't got the right gate, but he'll be doing his best.
What about with the weight?
I'm not concerned about the weight, actually. Because he's such a class animal, he can carry that weight. There were horses I was frightened of when the weights first came out, but they're not running. Horses I thought were well handicapped against him. So, no, I'm not worried about the weight at all.
Does it soften the blow knowing that a lot of the other contenders have also drawn wide?
Yes, that helps, obviously. Yeah, that does help. Okay, thank you very much.
Joined now by Centre Bet's Michael Felgate. Mate, we just had the barrier draw. First of all, we'll start with the favourite, Glencairn Gold, out in 21. What do you think?
Yeah, intriguing barrier draw, isn't it? Because the favourites have drawn so poorly, well, especially Dunedin and also Glencairn Gold. It was $3.60 Glencairn Gold before the barrier draw, now out to $4.50, and I'd anticipate that it'll probably drift even further getting to Caulfield Cup Day. You might even see as much as $5.
Beautiful. That could be, for the ones who haven't got on yet, it could be the way forward.
Yeah, I think so. There's been a lot of talk about the horse not having any pressure in his 4 Australian starts, with Wala Ichi drawn out wide as well. I think obviously the Caulfield Cup are normally high pressure races from the start. We'll see that pressure early doors, so punters may take a set against the favourite.
Fair enough. Mate, we've got the last 2 Melbourne Cup winners in American and Dunedin in the field. American's drawn barrier 19, Dunedin 22. What are your thoughts there?
Not ideal for the internationals, although they are go-back horses. So I think the wide draw for American especially probably won't pose any problems because he was always going to go back. We know Craig Williams has come out in the media and said that he would like to have drawn between 1 and 8 for Dunedin. So because of that, we've drifted Dunedin out from $7 to $8. Still very high in the market, fighting out second favouritism. However, he's had that hoof abscess setback a couple of months ago, and he's the type of horse who would have liked to smother in maybe midfield, whereas he's not going to get that now. He's probably going to be back in the tail enders and need to make a long, sustained run.
And just on that as well, and I'll be surprised if it doesn't get touched on in the next few days. If these international horses who are Melbourne Cup bound are going to have to make a long, sustained run, what impact does that have on their Melbourne Cup chances?
Well, it's interesting because let's not forget about the weight they're carrying too, you know, 58, 59 kilos with the vest and so forth. So it's going to be a big ask. And we haven't really seen them come through the Caulfield Cup in previous years, like the main contenders, like the Americans and Dunedin. So we've seen them go through the Geelong Cup in previous years. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do come through this race, because we're expecting a high-pressure race, and for them to come a long way back, and especially with 24 degrees on Saturday, the track could be reasonably firm. So there's another factor.
Yeah, there's a couple there too. The Moody trio, mate. Speak, of course, of Lights of Heaven, who's drawn barrier 8. Valuichi, as we touched on before, drawn barrier 17. No doubt will come across. And Sneaker Peak, it looks like it might have snuck under the radar in barrier 10 with Bossy aboard.
Yeah, absolutely. Big-time rider, Glenn Boss. And interesting, he hasn't won a Caulfield Cup. Came close on Mackay Diva a few years ago. So, and speaking with Peter Moody, he's starting to warm to Sneaker Peak. We know he said that Lights of Heaven is his number 1 seed, but I think that's purely because he doesn't know how good Sneaker Peak could be, and he's continuing to improve. He's firmed in our markets. We expect he'll continue to firm. He was $26, you know, at the start of the week. I think he's come into something like around about $13, $14 at the moment. So it's been a big move with that barrier draw. I'd expect he will continue to firm. Lights of Heaven, with her magnificent barrier draw, she really gets her chance. Barrier 8 for her. She firmed in also to around about $11 with us now at Centrebet after the barrier draw on Wednesday. And I wouldn't be surprised to see her firm even further.
There's a bit of talk as well, mate, just before we let you go, about who was going to make the field and what not. I think they've got it right for sure with Mudra and Alco Pop. But interesting with Alco Pop, he's been off the scene for a while. He was a 2009 Melbourne Cup favourite, and here he is here sneaking into the field. And we saw a horse a few years ago get into a field, Torfin's Melody, and come out and win.
Absolutely. And Alco Pop, the punters love this horse. He's been around for so long. He was $19 before the barrier draw, now into $15. So he's been one of the big movers from the barrier draw. And if he runs like he did on Saturday in the Caulfield Stakes, he's got to be in with a live chance.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Especially with Ocean Park sort of up the top of the Cox Plate markets.
Oh, without a doubt.
All right, mate, who's your tip?
At this early stage, I'm sticking with Sneaker Peak, like what you said. I do like Sneaker Peak. And I'm also starting to warm to the other international, and that one is My Quest for Peace. Because if you take a line through Gatewood, Simon O'Donnell owns both of them, and he said that this horse is a better horse than Gatewood. Gatewood was unlucky, probably should have won the Herbert Power. So if he's rating this horse better, I think he could be another one at around about $18, $19. Though he has been well backed in recent days, he'd probably start around about the $14, $15 mark.
He's barrier 2, Corey Brown, fresh off the Toorak last week.
Absolutely. Can't get much of a better combination.
I would say good luck, but that doesn't help us punters out.
No. We know all the punters out there. Hopefully you can back a winner. And don't forget, money back if you run second in the Group 1 with us with Caulfield Cup on Saturday.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Nick. Cheers.